Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to your Sunday tonic conversation with the Love Crusader. Yep, it's a full house today. If you are just coming across this platform for the first time, it's called Conversation with the Love Crusader. It's a platform where we have fun talking about serious issues. Issues around love, issues around life, and issues around relationships. Yeah, so um, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notifications once we are live. It's at Men Fences TV on YouTube. You can also follow our page on Facebook. It's at Men Fences. And yeah, we're on Instagram. I usually don't say it because we don't go live on Instagram, but we are on Instagram at Men Fences Love. Men Fences _love if you want to follow us also at Instagram, so you can just get notifications when we are live, and you can also share with your friends what we are doing and saying and talking about on this platform. So last week we started talking about one very interesting topic, and time was not enough. So we've decided to compress this week into a continuation of that topic, and by extension, um, another indices has been added, and it will be interesting to see how it all plays out today. Okay, before we jump into the topic, let me introduce my full house. All right. I am going to begin from the very beginning. Those who were here last week and they are back. You know what it means? If you watch last week edition, I don't want to miss this couple. They were a wonderment last week. Osi and Omayeme, the power couple of Abuja, are back in the house.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right. And then after that, I introduced my friend. I know many of you have missed him on this platform. He's been here. He was a regular, and then some life happened. And then we've not seen him in a while. So I'm super happy that he has been able to come back here again today. Sake, my friend in whom I am well pleased, is on the platform. Okay, his name is Duro Dola. I always call him Sake. Olukayo de Duro Dola is here. Say hello to the people.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be back. Thank you.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, and my brother, my friend, should I put son or should I put in whom I'm well pleased? I love this young man. I love his love for God and his passion and dedication for life. He's a serious go-getter, pushing it as far as Nigeria is concerned. A gospel artist, a tech professional, doing everything and doing it all. Frank McCall is in the building.
Good evening, everyone. It's so great to be here. I was here last year and I enjoyed my time, and I'm seeing everyone here. I trust it's going to be a learning time for me. Yeah.
I'm going
Thank you.
to try to bring you more often. I'm going to try to bring you more often. Don't worry.
All right.
We'll work around it. Okay, and then my co-host, our regular, Dr. Emmanuel Osebo, is here on the show tonight. We've also missed him for a while. Some things happened, and he's not been here for some weeks now. Happy to have you back, Dr. Osebo. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, and good evening, everyone. We're going to have a great time, I believe. Awesome.
Right. We'll try. All right. Awesome stuff. Let's see how we can dig into this because I'm afraid the 1 hour is still not going to be enough today, but we'll try. We'll try to do our best. So last week we started talking about love and jealousy, and we were able to establish that we cannot separate them one from the other. So love and jealousy go together. However, the challenge, because jealousy is an emotion, the challenge is our ability to direct that emotion appropriately and to also use it not to a destructive level. I'm trying to give us like a summary and overview of what happened last week. And so we talk about how it can either be destructive if not properly used, but can also help a relationship if used properly. So it can be a strategy. It can also be a show of love. So we came to the conclusion that if you truly love someone, it's not abnormal to be jealous over them or to be jealous for them. So yeah, we the point where we were able to end off the conversation was when we started talking about the possibility of married couples maintaining relationship with the opposite sex. And Sister Titi said, no, 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 it's not possible. OC and Omoyeme told us that if it's possible if we find balance and boundaries. Those two words, I told them, it stuck with me, so I can't forget. If we find balance and boundaries in the relationship, if we're able to create a balance in and define what the relationship is about, then yes, it's possible. So that's where I want us to begin from today. I want to take your view, not OC's view. Those of you who were not here last week, what's your view and your take on that before we get on cracking with all the conversations for this evening? So give me your view. Let's start with Frank. Oh, Frank is not married, but then, all right, give us your generic view, not from your
Um,
experience, your generic
yeah.
view.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. All right. So I'm going to give my generic view of the matter.
Yeah,
Now, not shying away from like being in a relationship and all that, being that I'm not married, but still I am in a relationship and I'm in a committed relationship and I understand to an extent what it means to okay, Omo, yeah, why are you so interested right now?
oh my, yeah,
But
don't let
anyways,
him touch. Leave him alone. Go on, young man. Oh my, yeah, be careful.
all right. So it's important that they I mean I love what Omoye and OC said about boundaries. And I think I'm coming from that point of view. Okay, let's take out, I would like to speak from my own point of view. It's a case where understanding what I mean, because we don't love um, how we want to love. We love how the other person wants to be loved. So, for example, my partner says, "Oh, I don't like this female friend of yours. I don't like the way she's always texting you, always want to talk and all that." I mean, it clearly just shows that okay, this person doesn't like that relationship, and it's just it's not like a control mechanism. It's just okay. Can you respect? I don't like that person's attitude, or I don't like that person's attachment to you. And from a guy's perspective, sometimes we don't understand. It may just seem like what is it? It's just plain. And from a lady's perspective, I mean that's one thing. Most of the times, ladies smell a rat from like miles away. And it's clear to say that oh, when she says there's just something I'm not cool about, and you're like, okay, then you try to understand, how and where she's coming from, and then find a balance to it. But I think it's important that there is boundaries, and I think is important that there is, um, clear-cut distinctions to okay, who are you, what you are here for, and all of those stuff. If it's a case where I have a friend, a female friend, long before I got into a relationship, long before I got married, as it were. It's clear to understand that relationship, the core, the reason why we are there. Oh, are we just acquaintances? Oh, we hit up once in a while. Because for me, I have female friends that we hit once in a while, and when we do, we catch up on a lot of things. But I would not be cool if that female friend is texting me literally almost every day. Now that's my own personality, texting me literally almost every day, because I would definitely feel uncomfortable about it. So that's just my 2 cents. I think it's important for us to love not the way we want to love, but how the other person wants to, be loved, because it's important. We love them by, of course, Gary Chapman made it so simple. We love them by their love languages. And if that person, for example, is one that loves quality time, and then you are there texting whoever, it's rather not so cool, and it's going to create, um, what's it called, issues
Jealousy,
in the relationship. Yeah,
jealousy.
it's going to breed some certain kind of things, and yeah, that's my 2 cents about it.
Thank you, Frank. So Frank has just I think that's a very very good perspective he's given to it. He's he's made a statement that was made last week again, and that is that the woman always has that sixth sense. The woman is blessed with or a seventh sense that says, this thing, how is this? Okay, your turn. I introduced you as my friend, though. Be careful now what you are going to say next. And he's a man. He's a man, but he's my friend. Okay, go on. We are trying to get your view of the possibility of the opposite relationship when you're married. So as a guy, can you have a female as a friend? That's what we're trying to
Okay.
get your view.
Um, First of all, I would like to have my own definition of love. And
Okay.
my definition of love is defined as a complex emotion that can be defined in various ways, depending on culture,
Okay.
social, and personal context. Now, you see, the most important of them all is the personal context. Why? Because that is you being understanding um, how your partner thinks. Now, for example, there are things that normal people wouldn't tolerate. For example, I tolerate it, but you wouldn't know I tolerate it. If you assume that that's my own context because of someone else doesn't tolerate it, then probably you'll be doing things to inconvenience yourself. And I'm not even looking at that side of life, you know. So you see, everybody have different ways in which they expect love to be given back to them. So in my own side of love definition, which my wife also knows, is that do unto you or unto me what you can accept. It's as
Hmm,
simple as that.
hmm.
So, in a nutshell, in everything I do, I kind of amplify whatever you give to me. So, if you come with me with hatred, then I multiply it and give it back to you.
Ah,
If
no
you
bad
come to
talk.
me with love, trust me, the love will be overwhelming, probably even sinking you. You understand? Why? Because I believe for you to come to me in love, that means truly, truly, you can feel what I'm feeling. That's how it is. So
So
in the
if
case,
okay,
so in the
all right.
case where there's a third party, or maybe a friend third party comes into play, I'm not in the kind of person that will say, no, 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 it's none of a business. Leave this person alone. We're just friends. Even though I know that probably you're just talking from an aspect of jealousy and there's nothing between me and this person. You get my point. The best I can do is make A and B become friends. You You understand? Let A
Okay.
and B become friends. And if they can't become friends, then trust me, that friendship of so many years has some question marks already. Because I cannot mortgage my home for friendship.
Bam. Ah, Uncle
That's
K
just
just
it.
drew boundary now for people like us that are his friends. Bam. I cannot mortgage my home for friendship. So even me, I should know my boundary. I like that. I like that. Okay. Emmy, do you have 2 cents to say quickly so that we can go into what we need to talk today?
Actually, I
All
have
right.
more than 2 cents to say,
Please,
but
we need
I
two
will try
cents.
to keep it 2 cents. Um, I think on the surface, that question, on the surface, there is nothing wrong with having a friend of the opposite sex on the surface. However, when it comes to specifics, I think it has to be on a case by case basis, which means that how a particular marriage defines those opposite friends of the opposite sex depends on the strength of that marriage, depends on the trust within the marriage, depends on the understanding within the marriage, depends on the two people essentially, how they see life, depending on their background. There's so many factors that impact how they end up having well, I say a definition of what will work for them. And you may find that Mr. A and Mrs. B, they have friends of the opposite sex. They have absolutely no issue. They're very happy. They have people texting even at midnight, calling the husband for help or calling the wife for help, and it's okay. But Mr. X and Mr. Y, Mrs. Y cannot stand that same scenario without having issues in their home. So I think from on the surface, yes, it is not a problem. However, if within your relationship you've had this conversation with your spouse and it has been established that this is going to be an issue, then you have to prioritize your marital relationship, which means, in essence, that if there is something that would ordinarily not be a problem for you, however, for the sake of your marriage, this is going to be a problem, you just have to stay away from that thing until your marriage grows or the maturity comes to that point where that thing becomes acceptable. That's the way I would phrase my opinion.
Hmm. All right, oh, fantastic. Fantastic. So it's more of what's happening in your relationship, the kind of person you have. So if you know you have, for example, an excessively jealous man, then don't go and be doing friendship, unnecessary friendship with the opposite sex and say it's just friend. I'm tempted this man. Abi, if you have a liberal person who is a bit comfortable, and they don't mind when you say, "Oh, this is my friend," then fine. I'm trying to draw a bit of conclusion from what you're saying. So I can't say what you will not eat. Don't cook it. Don't give somebody else what you will not eat. If you, as a female, will be okay with your husband having a female friend, then okay. But if you know that if your husband say hello to one lady, he's going to give you sleepless night, then maybe you two should not say hello to one man. I'm trying to draw a summary of what I heard
It's as simple as that.
from what I heard from all of you. And Frank has told us that you should love your partner the way they want to be loved. So if they are saying, and especially if a woman is saying it, I must stress that point. It's not me that said it, it's Frank. Because if we want to continue, if we, unless we want to light ourselves, in most cases, it's the women who always see, you know, the
Yeah,
future. And they start saying,
yeah.
this thing is going beyond the
No,
handshake.
they are
Oh.
not seeing the future because they know themselves and they are
Okay,
doing
so
themselves.
as I was saying, let's move on
No,
to that
that's
topic.
deep. That's deep.
Once they know themselves, wow, wow, wow.
That's
That's
why
fantastic.
mothers, that's why mothers can see your girlfriend's innermost thoughts when they come in.
Wow. Ouch.
Okay, you both should be doing well. So I can't tell you for new one today. Okay, let's move on. We were going to talk about dismissing your partner's feelings. Someone told us to talk about it last week. So when do you begin to say, all right, my partner is not comfortable with this, let me do away with this friendship, or let me do away with this relationship, or my partner is not okay? Because sometimes, especially when couple have been married for a while, it will seem that the other person keeps saying, um this, I'm not comfortable with this, or this is not okay, or and then the other person is like they are not hearing. It's like they're not hearing them, or they are dismissing their feelings, or they are just seeing them as being controlling. Especially women, most cases, we want to say, oh, this man just wants to control me. He wants to tell me who to see, who not to see, where to go, where not to go. I know there are excessive control that has to do with DA, and will come there. But at what point can you really say, okay, now this person is really taking me for granted? So I'm going to go to OC and no more men now.
Uh, it's good to be back again.
Welcome.
Yes. So dismissing one's it's very delicate because, like I did say last week, is that whatever it is that you do is a reaction. Is going to cause a reaction, and it is also very important that you you are very sensitive to how you attend to issues that have been brought up by your spouse. Now, it is only a man that is insensitive and immature that will not take into um, cognition that my spouse is having issues with this. And when you come to understand that something is wrong here, it's only best for both of you to sit down and talk about it and find a common ground. That's why we talk about balance. Find a common ground where this is going to work and this is not going to work. Now, in order for this to work, is that both parties will have to make sacrifices. Now, meaning that you have to let go of some things.
Hmm.
It's rather unfortunate that you had to let go, but because of what you want as a joint party, is that if, for example, my wife isn't very cool with a particular friend of mine, and I want to sleep well at night.
Happy wife, happy marriage.
It's as simple as that, because you get a lot of things that, oh, the man was sleeping and the wife attacked it. We don't want to
Appearing to that.
we don't want to get to that point. But what I'm saying is
Sorry
that
that touch.
exactly. So we don't want to get to that point where we're both scared for our lives. And because last week we also talked about how love and jealousy leads to domestic violence.
Yes,
So
we're talking
we
about
don't
that.
want to get to that point. We don't want to get to that point. So except I know the last time we were on the show, we did talk about couples also going for um therapy sections as well to help with these things, because most times it's very difficult to find a common ground. In those places where you can find common grounds, then you can go get someone to help draw a line. And it's rather unfortunate that people on this side of the world do not really imbibe in those things, but they know how to run to pastor to go and say, Pastor, my husband is doing this, my wife is doing this.
Ouch. Ouch.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that all of these things are what will help, so that we are not dismissive of each other. And that is where we now begin to hear divorce because of irreconcilable differences. Yes, so we
Mm.
don't want that.
Okay, Omoyeme, what I want
Yeah.
you to talk about from a woman's perspective, because it's me and you now, we have to bond. Oh, happy Mother's Day, by the way, every woman that is watching. I almost forgot to say that. Happy Mother's Day to us. And yes, we have plenty. We have Mother's Day, we have Women's Day, we have
International
International Women's
Women's
Day,
Day,
we have Local
Moving
Women's Day,
Sunday.
we have Global Women's Day. Leave us alone.
No
We are
problem,
what
no problem.
celebrating. Let's not bring that topic now. So, Omoyeme, what I would like you to talk about is, as a woman, this intuition that they say we have, is it always right?
Okay,
Before you even
well,
begin to say that somebody is dismissing the feeling, is that feeling really always right?
it's not always right, to be very honest. Most of the time, yes. And then sometimes you could actually just be getting, like, as I think I mentioned it, be playing scenarios in your head. And then one thing, it could
Mm-hmm.
be from possibly past relationships. And then you're like, this is what this person did that time. And then he did this. and then you play that scenario and say, okay, this man is actually doing this. And then I most times I tell my husband, I say, before I complain about something, is that I have in my head, I have thought about it, rehearsed it, as in giving it like serious thought before I would say, okay, this is this is that. Because I like coming out with facts, and I like being very factual and very accurate when I speak about things that I really don't like. You get, so I think that what happens to other women, I don't know, like I can just say that possibly maybe a couple of women too, before they actually voice out these feelings. I don't know. Some people might be very rash with their own how they attack issues or go about issues. But for me as a woman, that's how it is. So before I could say, okay, I don't like this thing, or I don't like this relationship I have with somebody, I would have taken out time to really understand in my own view, understand what is going on, and then put two and two together. So if it's like this, that means it might be like this. Then I will now sit down, then have a conversation with you and say, okay, this is what I noticed though. And I will now give you line by line, thesis by thesis of how it is. But then
I
again,
hear
yeah,
you.
for a
I
woman,
hear
that
you, and I think
for me, woman,
sorry, I'm going to interrupt you a bit. You've hit the nail on the head. So it's not just about the intuition, it's about also not just acting out of that emotional space of, oh, this thing has come into my head, then it must really be. You need to further investigate, Abby. So in
very
the
true,
course of
very
this
important.
investigation, I think this is where things like technology comes in. Let's start now with Frank and Sake. That's why they're here today. So in the course of this investigation now, you see some people, they begin to look for facial recognition of the man while he's sleeping, or taking his finger to open the phone. How does technology help jealousy, or how does it make it worse? Because I for me, I love technology. I mean, that's what we're using now. You are all from different parts of the world and different corners talking to us, to everyone today, thanks to technology, right? There's a whole lot of beautiful aspect to the use of technology. So, but how do we now investigate? See that statement Omoyeme made, that she will now draw inference, she will now research before she now publish the thesis. So this is like a PhD work. How does technology help this, or how does it make it worse? Sake?
First of all, in this case, I would say technology can make it better. Why? Because
Okay,
at times things don't look the way they seems. Even with some practical evidence, it's not always 100% accurate.
okay,
And you could talk about running forensic search, running all those things on devices. It will still give you the real storyline. Okay, I'll give an example. Um, there's this friend of mine, and the last time we saw was 2004. Until last year, before I knew she was in Birmingham. Not even Birmingham, was in Wolverhampton. And when we used to be classmates then, I used to be one of the people that always find solution. So when they need something, they know who to go meet back then. So the moment she met me again in the UK, she continued the trend of, if she needs this, hello Sake, please, we have this problem. Hello Sake, we have this problem. So before I knew it, my wife got to know that, I was talking to this person today. you know, before she made that statement, I laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. I said, do you know what? I will show you I'm a step ahead. So my son was doing his birthday. So I brought the girl and her family over for my birthday. So I made them to talk. I made them to, I didn't tell her the story. I never told her the background as myself. I made the girl, you know, tell her how she got to know the husband and how close they were in school and every other person. So after, they became friends, they exchanged numbers. Then I now told her my own side of the story. So I said, so can you see the reason why when she needs this particular help, she does what? She gives me a call. To the point that even the husband as well, I've not seen the guy, I've never met the guy, but trust me, the husband still called me this afternoon to ask about certain things about certain people and how to solve the problem. So what I did was before the woman start doing investigative journalism and whatsoever, and before you start looking for points that does not exist, and we are kind of different. I'm the kind of person that explains before a problem happens. When problem happens, I don't explain. I just tell you, okay, you've done the investigation yourself, you've picked the point yourself, do the judgment yourself. You should have waited for me to do what? Explain before drawing your conclusion. So
But
if
isn't
you
that
go ahead,
dismissing the feelings that we're talking about, Sake? When you say,
no,
okay, you've done your investigation, that so whatever your
no,
conclusion,
no.
isn't
The
that
point
you
is,
dismissing your
the
partner's
point is, the
feelings?
moment I see her having such feeling, I start working on it. I may not even tell her to her face, but I start working on the solution to that problem because women are very complex, and once something is complex, you don't just jump into it, or else you will say the wrong things and do the wrong
Complex
actions.
equation.
Very
So
complex.
we are complex. Okay.
Women
And
are
I will,
complex. Then how do you now, how are you able to step in even without having a conversation with her about it?
all I'm saying, that's why you have to be very careful while having a conversation. You have to make sure everything is done appropriately, or else you will say the wrong things and it will ignite the wrong fire.
hmm,
It's as simple as
okay.
that.
Okay. Let's try to crack on. Let's try to crack on. Frank, what's your take about technology? And I mean, okay, let me give a more wider perspective. People are connecting socially. That's the truth. People are on each other's DMs, and a lot of side chicks are being gotten online. A lot of, let's face fact, adultery is going on. Even some of them don't even see each other. They are doing it via phone, via whatever. Excuse me.
If
So is technology helping our relationships really, or are they? Is it making things worse? Does it fuel this jealousy we're talking about?
All right, thank you very much. Well, I think that technology has, I mean, of course, for literally almost everything in life, it has its downside, it has its pros and cons and all that. But I think that technology in itself, it has it has done now, I dare say, it has done more harm than good in as regards relationship and how people interact socially, because now, like you said, a lot of people indulge in a lot of things via the internet these days. I mean, you don't have to meet somebody. I mean, a lot of things can happen. You can chat, and of course, in the faith life, if you if you think about it, that's how deep it is. If you think about it already, it's already a deal done. So I think it's important that individuals have this self-control. They have um, they have a well cultured behavior as to how they interact with the opposite sex. It's important because more often than not, if it's not controlled, it can lead to a lot of things. For example, I I don't I don't have anything to do with a lady, and then we're chatting, we're talking, we're bonding, we're spending time, we're doing video calls, we're seeing each other, and then one day I call, and then she's not wearing a dress. Crazy. And ideas starts to form. I mean, it's as simple as that. And again, I think another aspect to look at it is how we guard our devices. I understand that a lot of people know the way they want to um, the how they guard their devices as to even their spouses, for example. I, for one, I don't have a password that Okay, my girlfriend does not know.
I'm gonna say it as it is.
Well, I don't have a password that she doesn't know. Why? Because I believe I have to be an open book so that there's no it doesn't breed any sort of you know um distrust whatsoever. As you want to open my phone, okay, open the whatever. I mean, I have nothing to hide, but a lot of people cannot do that. Not necessarily
Exactly.
because
I was
they
just going to
have,
say how many men can actually say, how many men and women, not just men, can actually
yeah,
say
yeah,
my partner knows my password or my phone is
yeah,
open. Hey, that phone, this thing that phone has become now, that is we are married, we go naked with each other. Sorry to be raw, but we cannot open phone for each other. It's a terrible thing. Okay, go on, Frank.
yeah,
Sorry. and,
yeah. So, yeah, important. Yeah,
This table you are shaking. Get ready for
let's
a new
shake it.
table.
Sake, let's shake it. Oh, we want to shake that table very well today. Frank, go on.
Well, I dare say there are a lot of reasons more than, the opposite sex that would make a lady or a man want to keep the privacy of their phone. And I dare say it's fine if you want to have that as your privacy. It's your phone, and yeah, but I think we should learn how to be fair, treat each other with that fairness and that open-mindedness, I think. But yeah, technology, it's beautiful, it's is the future, is here, is now our past, our present, and our future all together in one. And I think that individuals should learn how to use it, not to the detriment of themselves or to the other person, but for collective good. Because there are a lot of relationship, opposite sex relationship, that are so wonderful, beyond all of the unnecessary things that comes with it. So yeah, I think it's important that we all, benefit from it, and of course, not blow a lot of these things out of proportion. Because from little texts to little emojis, from little emojis to, of course, the list goes on and on and on and on. And we can say that, oh, we're not having anything, we're not seeing physically, we're not. I mean, it's how the mind works. We can. A lot of people have messed up their relationship, their marriages, just via a little hug emoji, a little hug emoji, and like, you're already hugging the lady. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So that's my thought about it.
Okay, Amy, thank you so much, Frank. So Frank is alluding to the fact that the technology is not the problem; it is the users. There are two things I
Yeah.
want you to deal with here. um First, your response to that as per how technology is making things worse or making it better relationship wise. And then secondly, how this fuels. So I'm coming back because you guys are not here last week. I'm going to bring it back to Sake and Frank and yourself. How this fuels domestic abuse, because it seems like domestic abuse is on the rise, and most cases, I'm sorry, from the small experience and the circle of people I talk to sometimes, it's about, oh, I saw something on your phone, or you were calling someone, or you were chatting. It's always like it starts from kind of that aspect. That's where problem usually starts from. And don't get me wrong, I mean, during the International Women's Day, I presented a paper on how digital spaces are helping people, overcome domestic abuse issues, especially in Africa. There's a lot of knowledge that we have passed amongst ourselves, especially as women, that was not available to us, but thanks to technology, we have those knowledge. We have a better understanding of what domestic abuse is. Some people were in it and didn't even know what it meant. So I'm not here. It's not a roast of technology for me. I still see all of the beautiful advantages. But how is this making domestic abuse worse? And is it really about not the technology but the people?
So great question. I do think that technology is just a tool. And again, I may be on the very far side of the conversation, but it's just the perspective I have. Now, what you do with that tool would would end up determining whether or not that tool is good for you or bad for you. But it is a tool. So how it's used does matter. Now, with respect to jealousy, first of all, it's very possible that technology, especially social media, can be a fuel for someone who already have seeds of jealousy in them. It might just be something that aggravates and makes that jealousy worse, or that feeling of something is wrong. Maybe there's really nothing going on there, but the person already have that thing on the inside of their mind, and technology will just make it even worse. Um, that said, of course, in the same way that technology or social media can make jealousy worse, it can then make the outcome of how people react when they're jealous to get worse too. So I guess in a way we can say the final line is it can fuel or increase domestic abuse. But one of the things that I really like to mention, and I think I touched on it a little bit when I was introducing my point, is it really matters what's going on between husbands and wife. It really, really matters. It matters a lot the perspective that your spouse has about this issue. And it's unfortunate people don't talk about it much because, oh, it's like just throw it under the rug. But people need to have conversation about how do you actually feel about me having friends. First of all, it doesn't even matter gender, just friends, and then go beyond that to put gender into it, and then go beyond that to understand this person's perspective. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to be cooped into a corner. No one will be able to live that way. All right, you're not going to have your phone under 100% surveillance, or your social media account under surveillance 100% of the day. Somebody's just standing over you and you feel like you're living under a microscope. Nobody's going to be able to live with that, right? All in the bid to try to fulfill or make your spouse feel like you're good, they can trust you. So if there are underlying issues, those issues need to be dealt with, because typically where people get jealous, something there's already been an underlying issue. So give you an example. If your spouse has cheated on you in the past, you definitely have a different baseline where you're starting from when it comes to jealousy, right? So you might just see just a common social media post, and then that throws you off because it takes you all the way back to what has happened in the past. So it really matters what happens between, people in a relationship in terms of how it impacts jealousy. Technology is just a tool, and it's a wonderful tool that I believe most of us have benefited from. But we also know people who have taken the information in there without any kind of context and have acted on it and have, blown things out of proportion. So that's just my take on that one.
Yeah, I like that. I like that coming from that angle now to say there could be a lot of factors already in the relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask OC and Sake, as married people, a question. Looking at this factor that you are saying now, for example, is it really healthy? Because Emmanuel said, let's have a conversation. Do you really want me to have friends? Do you really want to not to have friends? Is it really healthy in a marriage? Is it really possible that because you're in a marriage, you cannot have, maybe you cannot, like, okay, I want to use the word frank use so that we can break it down. Acquaintances. Because when does it move from control to, okay, what I like and what I don't like? I give an example. As a man, you say you don't want to see any other man around your wife. You don't, she goes to market, you are monitoring that the time. In fact, there's an app. I saw an app of recent, they were advertising it and saying that if you want to know where your partner is, then the app will be showing you on the map that even if this person tell you that they are at work, you can see them in a hotel with another woman. I say, it have reached like this. It have reached like this. Why don't we just tie leash on ourselves then? I'm saying, at what point does it become control? Yes, we can have a conversation and say, what do you like in the relationship? What don't you like? But when you now begin to say things like, for example, oh, you can't own a phone, you can't even own a phone as my wife, or you cannot have a social media account as my wife because I don't trust what you're going to go do there. Or you cannot, you can't wear some colors of clothes because red lipstick attracts men, stuff like that. Just, is that still part of, I don't know how to explain it. Are we now still trying to understand each other's feeling, or now we are now dealing with a controlling situation? OC and Omoyeme first, then Sake too will respond. OC especially, because it's men that do it most. They will roast me now.
Okay. The thing is that the Bible did say that out of the abundance of your heart, the mouth will speak. So it means that you've been thinking a lot about, you've been thinking the wrong things a lot, and for some reason you've been creating scenarios in your head as well that something is wrong. That just like Uncle Emmy did say that it could be as a result of what has happened before that you're playing your cards on. But that is very dangerous because it means you're going to lose lots of friendship, lots of relationship. You're going to be on the losing part because you cannot judge your past in this context now to define what your future is going to build for you. Now, that being said, is that when it comes to technology, in fact, I don't think we've really spoken a lot about this. Is that the first time I and my wife did speak was on Facebook.
Ah,
Yes.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Beneficiaries of
Or it was
technology.
so there's the good aspect of technology playing a key role in this
Ah,
thing.
you have given me one question now that I will ask somebody. Okay, continue.
Also, but we like it or not, it is a matter of concept of how you use the technology that will now determine the outcome of what you're expecting. But it is very, very terrible from a man's perspective to actually say that it means you are controlling, and a controlling person, it means you are toxic as a man. And in this generation that we are in right now, this our own generation, we don't want to be that part that we saw growing up from our parents. We don't want to be that part. We don't want to be, oh, you are my wife, you have to sit down and do it this way. I don't want to be commanded, I don't want to be controlling. It is partnership, not dictatorship.
Mm-hmm. Bam.
So I and in order for that to work, it means both of us, like I did say, will have to find common ground. So we have to talk about these things and genuinely talk about it. It's not that you're beating around the bush. Yeah, that's how you, and I see you with this one and the one, this one not coming up as no, 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 no. I say, bro, I don't like this. I like this. Sis, I don't like this. I like this. Then we'll have to find a common ground about it. Then, but using technology to now start tracking your spouse, bros, yeah, is it that you don't have other things to
You're
do?
learning mental.
What is it? So, and
Okay.
that's what it
Okay,
is.
OC, sorry. I'm pressed for time and there are some things I really want to push out now. So I'm going to ask someone here a personal question. I'm going to put her on the spot. Now, because you people started conversing on Facebook, do you have times when you think in your head, is it talking to other, maybe it's talking to other girls, maybe it's talking to other people on this Facebook? After all, it was on Facebook we met. Some people justify it like that. Say, after all, we met on social media, so he could still or she could still be talking to other people on that same platform. Do you have those kind of thoughts sometimes? I know you're a good girl, so maybe you don't act on it, but do you?
Okay. Well, personally, I've really not had that thought, or in the line you mentioned that okay, maybe because we met on social media, and I never really thought about it, or I've never really thought about it in that manner. But yes, it can actually happen. Those thoughts could actually be there because he's chatting me. What, someone who say, when I tell you good night does not mean I tell another person good night. It might mean you. I want you to go and sleep. I want to go and talk to another different person. So yes, it could happen. But well, I've never really had that thought towards him. You get regarding that aspect. But yes, it actually happens because yes, both male and female. So I don't think it's just one gender. Women do it a lot, and then you are engaging a lot of people, and then you're having all these strings of conversations around the same time. But then again, I used to ask, when they used to say suitor in the olden days, what did they actually mean? Were they not engaging with other people and having conversations, and then they now pick the one? I still have not gotten a clear understanding about that. Well, I think white people do it, and they go on dates with this person, go on dates with that person, and then draw
Yeah,
it
but
up.
we're talking now after you've chosen the one.
Now, after you have chosen the one, you should basically, all those kind of conversations are something that you should do away with and get, because all those things kind of, if I say okay, I've met someone and then I'm now engaging with conversations or going on dates with other person, it really doesn't make any sense, because you're just a confused human being. That's what I would say, really. Because if I say okay, this is the person, and so what am I still fishing for? What am I still finding? And then that brings a lot of room about comparison. Oh, is he doing this? Is he telling me this? Is it plenty unnecessary drama that you really don't want to put yourself in? So basically, yes, if you could meet, because social media has really helped, or the internet has really helped in forming a lot of relationships. And then
Yeah,
because
I
with
agree.
distance, with the way we work and all that, it has really helped distance relationship. A lot of people have met online and have great relationships. You get, so it's basically understanding that. And then sometimes we just, I said, we drop, especially as women, we have so many things in our head when it comes to this relationship matter. Sometimes we just overthink and then go crazy about it. Give yourself time, don't die
Okay.
unnecessary
Thank you
deaths.
so much. Thank you so much. Hey, time is running out on me. All right, Sake. I knew this was going to happen today because I knew the caliber of people that were coming to this show. So I was really afraid for my 1 hour. Sake, you're going to comment on that control, the difference between control and just trying to have a conversations, maybe about boundary, and at the same time, the benefit of having other people surround your relationship. This is, let me explain. So on one of our shows here, someone said to us, a commentator said, your spouse cannot be everything to you. So you cannot say because I am in this relationship, I am married, I cannot relate with other people. Is that really true? Is it? And if not, why do we now have people who say, um, you are my wife, I don't want you to talk to anybody again, don't dress like this, don't eat like this, don't speak like this, like I was trying to say now with OC, and the that control, because I want us to help a girl who has not married yet, who maybe is in a relationship, and is already confused about the way this guy is sending these messages. The guy is already controlling her while she's in the relationship, and this might be a red flag. It might be a sign that this guy is going to be an abuser. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just in my head. What do you say, Sake?
Um, First of all, I will start from the technology aspect. As everybody has said, that technology is a tool, and it depends on whosoever is using it. The same way we compare technology, we can compare it to guns and cars.
Right.
Guns have brought a lot of death to people, and guns have brought a lot of protection to people. So it depends on which angle you look at it from and who is at the end of the gun. The same
Mm,
thing as the car. Cars have brought so many
comfort.
comfortability to a lot of people. At the same time, that brought death to a lot of people, depending on who is controlling the car. So now
Mm,
the word control still comes back into play and depends on which context is the control being used. Now, I don't believe that anybody is superior or anybody is inferior to another person. I only believe in controlling situation, not human beings. As I'm a fan of putting controls in place, but the controls are not for human beings, it's for situations so that things don't escalate. That's why we as individuals must learn how to put controls in place. Now, in case of you having a woman or a man and you want to establish your will on that person, that is when your control is going beyond the border and entering into someone's personal life. That someone is your wife or your husband doesn't make them your puppets. Neither does it make them your TV that you take a remote control and say, change this channel, change to this point, reduce volume, increase volume, and stuff like that. No. That is going beyond what boundaries. But at the same time, situation of life gives room for both of you to look for best ways to tackle it. Now, let me give an example. If my wife gets to know that maybe my friends are always putting me in trouble, you know, and she was like, "Remember, you told me about this gist, how this person did this, and you end up paying for it. Remember this one, this one, this one." To me, I don't think it's a good idea for you to continue to be in such relationship with that person. Now, will you tag that as a control? Or maybe your husband is telling you like, "Hey, this is a friend. I'm not comfortable with this a friend, or this the chain of friends you have. This one does not have husband. This one is always slapping her husband. This one is in London. The husband is in Jamaica. This one, you know, before I don't see this set of friends you have. None of them have a best interest because you don't have the same culture. So now, if your husband is trying to point out those aspects of life to you and telling you, to me, if you are not careful, you will make that problem our problem. Is he controlling his wife? Is it telling him to have fun? So this is where external force comes in, because a lot of people will not know what has transpired or what is really happening or what made the man or the woman to say, "See, this is a friend." To me, is a no-no. It doesn't mean the person is trying to cage you. At times, we don't see that our friends are bad because we are emotionally attached to them, either male or female. There are a lot of guys that, trust me, when okay, for example, on Valentine's Day, this song, "Who is your guy?" My wife went to my Facebook page and tagged a friend of mine, like, this person should be kind of this guy, you know. Why? Because of the way we relate. Do you get my point? Why? The guy cannot call me in my dreams and I will answer 100 times because of the kind of person he is. You get my point? So now, see that kind of relationship. Maybe she said that like, oh. So instead, I now posted her pictures and I now use the song for it. Oh, this is what they're trying to say. No problem. Don't worry, you are my guy. You understand? But the point is, it just depends on those persons. If you have a straight line by saying, "Oh, he's controlling his wife not to have friends," or "she's controlling her husband not to have friends," do you know the kind of caliber of friends the wife or the husband is keeping? And in the case where you judge that case and the husband has said, "Okay, it's fine. You go have the friends you want to have. It's all right." And those friends comes back to hurt the family. Who is at fault? Is it you looking for justice of someone being controlled or someone that is not being controlled? So you see, we don't have
Okay.
a plain field
Thank you,
for this.
Sake. Thank you so
There's no
much.
plain line to this.
Thank you so much. So, sorry, I'm now trying to really really get to points before we run off. So, I'll come to you, Manuel. So, from what Sake is saying, it's not about whether you are trying to say don't do this. I think it's about how it is said. Maybe I'm trying to understand the situation. If you are giving it as a command, as an order, because I want to believe that yes, like he said, we are blind to our friends because we love them, they're our friends. But if you can show me why this person is bad for us or bad for our relationship, maybe in a mature healthy conversation, maybe I'll be more open to listening to you than if it's an order. Sometimes we give order. The lady say, "I don't ever want to see you that woman again. If I see you that woman again, if you choose between me and her." Emotional blackmail. Or the man say, "I'm the head of this home. I decide who you can be with or you can." Is it about how we say it? Is that where the problem? Because the way Sake say it now, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. You're protecting your relationship from external forces, right? But then why does it now become a problem sometimes?
Well,
The
the way it's
becomes
sorry,
sorry, you can yes.
the way it's communicated matters. A lot of the time, how you say what you say is Over 90% more important than what you say. So yes, that part is there definitely. I won't even buttress the point. You've just settled it. How you say what you say matters. But beyond how you say, what you do also matters. So if your actions are are going in a direction where you're no longer just suggesting. Now you're married to somebody, I know the two are now one, doesn't mean that I have assumed the role of making all the decisions for my wife. She's still a person, right? And it doesn't mean my wife has now been crowned with this crowning glory of deciding what I am going to do all the time. And it doesn't mean that I am going to make perfect decisions all the time either. So I believe a healthy relationship, including marriage, still gives space for people to be able to individually make decisions and for you to be able to provide suggestions and counseling to your spouse. It doesn't mean your spouse must take your counsel. If they don't take the counsel and the consequence comes that it impacts the whole family, great. We all will face it together, and hopefully that person would have learned from it and would perhaps trust your counsel even more in the future as a result. But all that to say, if I advise my wife and say, don't do this, and she chooses to do it, I don't think it's healthy to now go to the extreme because I can clearly see whatever the consequence is. I'll now go to the extreme of finding ways to manipulate or force or coerce her to do what I think is right. Now that's becoming that's controlling.
Hmm. Okay. So it's the problem is part of the problem is how it is said, and maybe how it's also perceived, and yeah, all of the history around your relationship. I have learned a lot from all of you today. I'm just going to give, our time is already up, but I'll just give two minutes for everyone to just kind of give like last words, summaries, or what you just, something you've not gotten off your chest about love, jealousy, and technology. Who wants to go first? Yes, go on,
1 minute. I will go. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I just wanted to get it over with. But go ahead, OC.
Me and
All
you,
right.
me and
Okay.
you will have the final word. Let's have OC
Okay.
and Omoyeme give their final words
Okay.
first.
So, from my own point of view, when it comes to technology, especially anything in the internet, you hear words like believe what you see on the internet at your own risk, because there are lots of miscreants out there that are actually wanting to
It's
destroy
long
your
American
relationship.
word. This grants.
Yes, yes, that's the truth. So you are dating
I
this
agree.
fine girl. I'm going to destroy it. So you now begin to see stuff. So it's also very important that we're very careful with what we put out there, what we take out there or from there, without actually getting to hear the whole context at which it was done. So it is not about the internet or technology. It is about who you are with and how you deal with it.
Okay,
Okay.
well, I just believe that when it comes to relationships, we should be very observant. Most of the time, we find out that like the internet basically takes up a number of our times. Maybe times we should be spending with our spouse, we're on our phones. It might not necessarily be even chatting with another person. Basically, it might be just doing other things that is replacing that real time conversations and all that you could actually be having with your partner. Real time conversation you're supposed to be having. Sometimes we have discussions over the phone with my husband, and then possibly maybe an argument, and then we settle it over the phone. Oh. And then when he comes back, he doesn't say anything about it. I'm like, we had one conversation, like we talked about it. I said, no, we should talk about it. Let me be looking at you. Let's talk about it. So a number of times we should not replace that face to face and then those communications we have together and then leave it just to the internet or because there's phone and then we can chat and all that. We should be able to build that bond, that real time bond between ourselves as partners. And then please, before you react to certain things, before you react, have conversations. Try as much as possible don't just react. You see something, somebody says hello to your husband and then you're frowning your face. It's really unnecessary and all that. Seriously, so instead of doing that, engage in other things. Find out more about this person. What does this person love? How does this person want to be loved? How does this person feel appreciated and all that? Boost your relationship and then try and as much as possible um be on the positive and not always on the negative and the defensive all the time. It will basically help. God bless us.
Amen. Thank you so much. I like that last part. Just what you're looking for is what you will get. If you're always having negative thoughts in your head and always thinking, oh my God, she went out. I thought she'll be back in 2 hours. She has stayed 4 hours. Or the one that is most shocking is when you hear some people saying, I've been calling her. She did not pick the call. Hello.
Hmm.
And that alone is enough for some men to go gaga. Why did you not take my call? Uncle. Anything could have been the reason why this person didn't take. I think it just, okay, all right, Frank. Let me come to my final words.
All right, thank you. I would say just to, yeah, I would say that communication is key. I would say that structures are important for our daily lives, for everything that we do. I would say that it's important that we create all of these structures to help our spouse understand. And then one more thing, most important, in communication, no topic is trivial. Like no topic is trivial. I see and I hear a lot of times people, there's a lot of topics that people in relationship in marriages don't talk about, and it later turns out to be a problem. So there's no topic that is trivial. Just talk about it and trash it out. I think, yeah,
A good
good said.
husband in
That's
the
my.
making. Hey, I am
Oh
I
my
am so
goodness.
super proud to say that this is one of our products. You know,
I have my
I bought
mentors
that
here.
for the little boy, and I'm so super. And in fact, today, that lady is blessed. She needs to come and give us wine.
Thank you. Thank you, Mama.
Because you just raised one point that I think a lot of women complain about, and that is the fact that men trivialize the things they are talking about. So, no matter what the person is saying, even if you feel it's nonsense, listen, it's
Yeah.
important. No topic is, if it's important to the person and is really affecting the person, then it should be talked about. It should be discussed. Great job, man. 50% of relationship problems solved if you know that. All right, Sake.
Um, as everybody has said, everybody have probably hit the nail on the head, and have said a lot of good points. And but from my own point of view, I feel relationship, jealousy, and technology runs hand in hand, and everything depends on the individuals and the aspect in which they're handling it from. And the problem with people that have common sense is the fact that they have headaches for other people. And when you are in a relationship with people, it's bound for you to have headaches for them. So in a place where you think you need to solve a problem in which you could read 3, 4, 5 steps ahead, then you become the villain by solving that problem without them knowing. I've gotten some allegations of you not allowing me to get angry, stuff like that. You're not allowing me to get angry. You're always, okay, get angry then. You know. So all those small things add up. They really, really add up. And at the same time, when you're trying to be overprotective as well, when I mean in terms of not wanting someone to get hurt, thereby you are bringing on measures, it also backfires. So at times I feel it's allowed for them to make mistakes. You let them go make their mistakes, then they come out like, why did you tell me? I'm like, no, I feel it's time for you to fly. At times you coach people, then you let them fly. Then when they fly and they get it right, it's okay. When they don't get it right as well, it's okay. I'm a kind of person that I don't judge people after problems. I probably judge you before problems. That's just how it is. So when you come to me and tell me, okay, this problem is on ground, this, I will never throw blame first. My first question is, how do we solve this problem? In short, I might not even go back to start analyzing that it's your fault. I cannot analyze what has brought about the problem. But fault allocation, I don't. But before that problem happens, I might give you your fault before. Me thinking about it, like, if you do this and do this and do this, you'll be at fault. Don't do it. You know, with that, a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people. That's if, okay, are you the only one that knows this? And before you know it, they will walk into the same trap. So to me, my advice is let people make their mistakes, correct in love, try and have listening ears. You understand? And trust me, your problem is different from mine, and your solution cannot solve my solution. So that's just it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Fantastic, fantastic. In fact, I love your analogy of the car and the gun as to what technology is. So it depends on who is, driving that car. The same car that can be so comfortable and can be a tool of blessing can also become a problem. It depends on who is handling the gun. The same thing with technology. It depends on what you're doing with it. So there's the good, there's the bad. And it's so easy to get a lot of bad stuff online now, like unlike before. Once you have data and you enter internet, everything is there. Good, bad, ugly. So what you do there is your choice. That's what matters, and that's what affects us. So thank you so much. Fantastic conclusions this evening. Emmy, quickly, our time is up. Your
Yeah,
conclusion.
great conversation, everyone. I think the summary that I second a lot is the communication is key. Understand your spouse, and everyone is not functioning at the same level of maturity. Even in marriage, there are things that take time for some people to come to that level of understanding. So if you're right now in the place where your spouse is saying we can't have friends of the opposite sex, don't turn it into a mountain. Enjoy your relationship. Put that on the back burner. You'll be surprised 5 years down the line, your spouse will be more open to the idea, and suddenly it's not a problem anymore. We're all growing, we're all getting better. Just keep that communication open and have peace in your home.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Oh my goodness. It's so such a blessing to have you all. Everyone, if you missed last week, please go watch again. We have said jealousy is a healthy part of a relationship. It's there. If you love someone, you would be jealous over them. However, it can also be destructive. So
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to conclude with the word that Omoyemi and OC told us about last week, which is balance and boundaries. For everything you do, please find a balance. Put yourself in that person's shoes and think about it. Like Sake said, it's also one of my life's motto. Whatever you wish others to do to you, you do the same to them. If we all would just do that, I think life would be easier. What you would not take, don't give it to someone. Don't treat someone in a way you would not want to be treated. There's no reason for hiding the phone and hiding things behind. If that relationship is actually platonic and that relationship is clean, then there's nothing to hide. There's no need to be hiding it. You can even introduce the people like Sake told us. Introduce this person to your other half and your better half, so that there'll be peace. And if your partner has not come to that level of understanding to be able to say, just go with the flow, understand the person you're with in your relationship, and enjoy your relationship. Relationships are not meant to be endured, they are meant to be enjoyed. And if you are the person that know you have problem, you are excessively jealous, please see a counselor. It is treatable, it is sickness. As we're saying that jealousy is healthy now, unnecessary and unhealthy one that leads to domestic abuse, that leads to controlling behavior, that leads to suspicion. You can never trust anybody. Somebody step out, oh, where have you been? I was calling you, not pick the phone. All those little things that just make life difficult. And please get treatment. You are sick, brother, sister. If you are the auntie that is not sleeping the night where people are sleeping, you are doing witchcraft activities, looking for finger thumb that you will use to open phone and face recognition to open phone. You are sick, auntie. Go and get treatment. Leave that phone alone, because what you are looking for, you will find. Give yourself peace in your relationship. Trust one another and let life go on. Okay, next week is our Q&A. And if you have any questions on all that we've talked about, or any questions about relationships in general, kindly send the questions through. We have a WhatsApp number on our Facebook page. Please send the questions. It will come directly to me. So we are going to deal with the question anonymously. Nobody knows you're the one that have asked the question. Don't die in silence. Speak to us, talk to us. If it's something we cannot handle, we'll signpost you to who can help you. and to who you can meet. Thank you once again, everyone, for coming. Thank you for your time. My other co-host, I have one other co-host that is supporting me at the back. He's already thanking you all on my behalf. You can see him. Thank you for taking the time to join in. God bless you all. Sake, Sir Frank. Today I've added Sir to your title. My
Ah,
co OC and Omoyeme
I'm
and
still.
Emmy. I don't take you for granted. God bless you all. Thank you so much. All right,
Thank you for
everyone.
having me.
Until we see you again next week, please have a love-filled week and just enjoy yourself and your life. Life is short. Enjoy your life. Happy Mother's Day again
Bye.
to
All
all
right.
mothers out there. God
Thank
bless
you,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.